If I had to choose one word to describe Daniel Jones, the word I'd use is efficient. While efficient is far from the sexiest words to describe a quarterback, this is far from an insult. The highly efficient quarterbacks over the years have had a lot of success in the pros. Think of quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Drew Brees. These players were asked to operate a timing-based offense, and they were coached to get rid of the ball quickly in order to live to fight on another down. Now, Jones doesn't seem to fit this traditional mold. Jones doesn't look like your typical pocket passing quarterback. While this may be the case, I'm going to argue that looks are deceiving. Even though Jones had the second slowest time to throw in the entire NFL, Jones does actually fit this mold. He fits it, just not in the way you normally think. Before we begin, if you can do me a huge favor and like and subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. So anyways, my main argument for why Jones doesn't look like your traditional pocket passing quarterback is simply due to how often he scrambles. If Jones isn't throwing a quick 3-step or 5-step passing concept, the moment his back foot hits the ground, Jones is already leaving the pocket. In 3 seasons with the Giants before Brian Daboll arrived, Jones scrambled a total of 72 times. In just 1 year under Daboll, Jones has almost matched that total, scrambling 62 times. This is a huge difference, and it goes to show you how Daboll views Jones as a player. He's pretty much told Jones that if he doesn't like what he sees immediately after the snap, that he shouldn't force it and he should just try to gain yards on the ground. While this coaching seems counterintuitive to how quarterbacks develop in reading a defense, this isn't a hindrance on the Giants' offense. It's actually one of the main reasons why they've become so much more efficient this season. Last year, the Giants had the worst offense in the entire NFL according to Football Outsiders. This season, the Giants are in the top 10. A big reason for that is because of how much Jones is allowed to scramble. His scrambling is keeping the Giants on schedule, and it's allowing them to keep their drives going. Jones' wildcard game against the Vikings was a perfect example. This play happened in the first quarter. It was 2nd and 7. After motioning a wide receiver before the snap, Jones had a smash concept on the right side of the field. With the Vikings having 2 safeties deep and playing cover 2, smash is a perfect concept to attack the sideline zone defender. In this case, that's Patrick Peterson at the bottom of your screen. With the quick hitch by James Ritchie at the bottom, his route sucked up Peterson and opened up the corner route towards the sideline. You give this exact look to the vast majority of quarterbacks, and they would take this throw in a heartbeat. They would confirm that Peterson squatted on the hitch, and they would throw the ball to Hodgins the moment he started breaking towards the sideline. A well-thrown pass to the 45-yard line, and this would pick up a good gain. However, instead of doing this, Jones scrambled, gaining 7 yards on the first down. While I will never fault a quarterback for creating a positive play, these types of immediate scrambles are all over Jones' film. On the very same drive, just 2 plays later, Jones did the exact same thing. This time he picked up 15 yards. The Giants had a drive concept on the right and a double post concept coming from the left. Instead of trying to squeeze the ball to a covered receiver, Jones quickly decided to run. Once again, most quarterbacks would sit in the pocket for a longer period of time. They would shift around looking to go through the entire field, yet Jones made the quick decision and did the opposite. In just 2.6 seconds, his mind was already made up and he was already leaving the backfield. Clearly, this isn't just a Daniel Jones decision. It's pretty obvious that this was a part of the game plan and Brian Daboll had something to do with it. Before we talk more about that, this video is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. They let you draft your fantasy dream team in minutes, and you can use that team to cash in their knowledge. They also have pick'ems where you can win up to 20 times your money in a single night. You pick between 2 and 5 players, and these entries make boring games so much more fun. Now, as a bonus to anybody that signs up using my promo code GOLD, I'll give you my fantasy cheat sheet so you can see my rankings and who I'm targeting on a week-by-week basis. For example, I entered this afternoon-only contest back in week 6, and I made $16 off this draft. It would have been so much more if MVS created any sort of fantasy points against the Bills. While that was frustrating to say the least, I drafted another team in week 7 using my rankings, and I made $10 off this entry in their beginner double up. Go ahead and sign up using my promo code GOLD, and along with my fantasy cheat sheets, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100 in bonus cash when you make a deposit of $10 or more. Deposit $100 and get $100 free. Back to the breakdown, one of the main differences that I noticed between Daniel Jones last season and Daniel Jones this season was the reliance on the scramble. Instead of sticking in the pocket and forcing a pass, Jones is using his athleticism to force defenses to react. If you have a quarterback that can do this, then a defense is more likely to keep a player to spy the quarterback and take him out of coverage. On top of this also affects how you rush the passer too. Instead of peeling your ears back to get in the backfield, the defense is more likely to play contain in order to keep in the pocket. Both together should give Jones more time in the pocket to make an unpressured throw. This is a double whammy of having a quarterback like Jones that can scramble. This is also the exact reason why the NFL has been trending in this direction. Just like Daniel Jones in New York, players like Justin Fields in Chicago are doing the exact same thing. Their coaches see that they can use the help in terms of the passing game, so they minimize those other responsibilities and allow them to simply make plays. Now, while these scrambles were a huge component of the Giants' game plan against the Vikings, the quick passing game that I mentioned earlier was the other major part too. On 46% of Jones' dropbacks, his pass was out in under 2.5 seconds. These quick timing concepts had Jones reading one side before the snap, then he would use his short yardage accuracy in order to get the ball to his receiver quickly. This is the main reason why I describe Jones as being a very efficient quarterback. Quick decisions to pick up quick yards is what defines Jones' game. He was extremely impressive on these throws, constantly giving his receiver a chance, even though none of them are really elite on their own. Then, when the defense pulled a defender into coverage, giving the offense a light box, Jones would hand the ball to Saquon Barkley, who would pick up a big gain. He only ran the ball 9 times against the Vikings, but he ended up gaining 53 yards and 2 scores. This play at the end of the first quarter was one of my favorites. The Giants called a run-pass option featuring a trap run at a pistol. Before the snap, Jones will count the box to figure out if he should hand the ball to Barkley or if he should throw the screen to the outside. With only 6 men in the box and a tight line receiver on the left side, this is a clear situation to run. The screen to the right is covered well with an extra defender. Seeing this, Jones handed the ball to Barkley. The right guard pulled to trap the 3-tech defensive tackle, while the left guard reached the linebacker at the second level. Barkley made one guy miss with a sweet spin move, and he picked up 16 yards on this run. Generally speaking, what I really like about this offense is how Dable seems to be maximizing the talent that the Giants have. If you really think about it, who all do the Giants have on their team? They have Saquon Barkley, but outside of him and Andrew Thomas at left tackle, it's not like they have players to spare that would start on many other teams. Really, all I see from this offense is Daniel Jones making quick decisions to either run or pass, and Saquon Barkley getting schemed up into a light box or having him hit the perimeter. When either of these things happened, this is when the offense started to move down the field. Back and forth these plays were called, and the Vikings had a really hard time stopping them all game. Well, that's all I have for you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to support the channel directly, feel free to follow the link to my Patreon account below. Also, you can find me on Twitter at SamuelRGold.